What is up, everyone? Joel Gammon here, head chef over at Homemade, also your fearless lambassador. That's right. Thank you for laughing, Amy. So good to be back with this amazing community at Fan of Lamb. We love you guys. Love getting in the kitchen with you, and this is just, to me, it's every time. It's just like one big, beautiful hug. And we're sitting here in October. And sports are on the TV, although here in Seattle, it was a very, very hard news when our Mariners got knocked out. But because sports are on the TV, that means food is flowing. And today, we're going to talk about really fun game day food, how you can turn a gorgeous cut of lamb leg into the most crave-worthy, umami, just dripping in all the right ways, cheesesteak sliders. You guys are going to love this recipe. Before we get started, a couple of just house rules. First and foremost, what makes this community so rich, so cool, is that we get to talk to each other in real time. So at any time, feel free to write in the chat. And our buddy, Chef Amy, who's in the chat. Amy, how are you?
I'm so great. So happy to be here with you, Chef.
We haven't been together in a while, Amy.
It's been a bit.
So you guys get to be here for the reunion episode of Fan of Lamb. Great to have you back, Amy. But Amy will be asking me questions that you guys fire off, suggestions, ideas, all that good stuff. We're going to have some fun later. So, Amy, thrilled to have you here. We do also want to call out, just by you guys being here, the American Lamb Board is actually giving away 5 pounds of ground lamb, of local, beautiful American lamb, to one of you lucky winners. We're going to choose it at the end of class. But by you being here, you are submitted. So good job. And you might win 5 pounds of ground lamb, which could be the best meatballs of your life, gorgeous meatloaf. It could be burgers. So many different things that you could kind of reinvent with that. Ground lamb to us is the most versatile of all the lambs. And so excited about that. And then last but not least, we talked about sports. And we talked about giveaways, but we didn't talk about a sports giveaway. And American Lamb Board has also launched this really, really cool campaign called Tastes of Tailgates. Get this, you guys. This is nuts. I'm going to submit right now so you guys can see how you do it. Win a chance, no joke, Yeti cooler, Weber grill. This is where you just have to step back. I can't believe I'm saying this. And a year's worth of American lamb. Let me repeat what's at stake. Yeti cooler. Check. Wish list. Wish I was getting it for Hanukkah this year. Weber grill. Gold standard. A year's worth of American lamb? Pinch me. Am I on planet Earth? All you got to do is submit that you went to the store and bought American lamb. So the way that you submit that is, Meg, do we still have, okay, hold on one sec. Okay, head of production and culinary, Meg is here. This was our receipt, yeah? Mm-hmm. So you just take your receipt from the grocery store, and then Meg, you take a little picture, just like that, and I am now submitted for all those 3 goodies. So that is Taste of Tailgate. If you don't do that, that is on you. But run to the store, buy some great local lamb, and submit for a chance to win. That is so fun. I just have to say that. All right, well, let's get cooking. Enough fun talk. Not that the rest of this is not fun. Like I said, today we are making lamb cheesesteak sliders. I love sliders for this because I want to be real. A cheesesteak is a gut bomb. And sometimes when I eat a cheesesteak, I can't move. So to have a little bite of a slider is just the right amount. Maybe you're having some crudité on the side. So we're going to start off with some beautiful veggies that are going to complement our leg of lamb. We're going to talk about how to kind of tackle a leg of lamb. This one is boneless, which I know can be kind of intimidating for people. John, maybe we can show you. But when you go to the store and you buy a great local or American leg of lamb, you want to look for one that is completely deboned. And you can get one with the bone in as well, but if it is deboned, it's a little easier to work with. You can also ask your butcher at the grocery store to take the bone out. But typically, you can see this kind of folds over. The bone would kind of be in the middle here. And they kind of open it up and butterfly it. And this is what we're going to use today for our beautiful cheesesteak. So let's get cracking. I'm going to wash my hands real quick. All right, so for cheesesteak, and I've been to Philly many times, and Meg, who just came in and took a picture of me, is from Philly, right, Meg, originally? Yes? So Meg developed, is that true? Originally from Philly? No, but you've been to Philly. Okay, been to Philly. So Meg developed this recipe. This recipe is perfection when it comes to cheesesteak. And I think the reality is it's so much better with lamb. There's something about the lamb in terms of kind of the depth, where it takes you, that beautiful kind of nuttiness that lamb lends that works really great. So we're going to start with an onion. Cut the bottom off. Cut the top off. And with all these vegetables, we're going to do what's called a julienne. And this was one of the very first things at cooking school we were taught how to do, which is to kind of cut your vegetables thin, kind of like matchsticks. You know, it's kind of a French term, but sounds fancy, super, super easy. So we'll compost the peels today, and then we are just going to slice this kind of following the grain of our onion. So you slice, slice, slice. When you get about halfway, I tip the onion over, and I keep going. That just gives me like a nice handle. So I'll do that again here. You get fast. Beautiful. Perfect. So that is just some nice sliced onions. Easy peasy. We're going to head over to our stove. I'm going to give a couple of good glugs of olive oil. And I'm on like a medium-high heat. So I'm going to go ahead and add all those onions in.
Love that sizzle.
Don't you? Are you a cheesesteak fan, Amy?
You know, I haven't had enough before, but I'm excited to have these ones.
It's not like the first thing you think about, but I think when it comes to game day, it kind of hits all the cylinders. It's handheld, it's meaty and rich, and it's got that comfortingness to it, right? The cheesy, it's great. All right, I've got some peppers, green. Now, I take the top off and the bottom off, and then I sneak my knife kind of underneath the white part here, and I roll the pepper. And that takes out all the seeds, and you're left with this beautiful sheet of pepper. So I'll do that again for some of those who want to see it again. But this is the only way to cut a pepper. All right, top off, bottom off. All right, scooch all those to the side, knife underneath, and roll it on over. And all the seeds you can just kind of pick up. You can even knock out kind of all the other little bits and bobs, and you're left with just pure, unadulterated pepper. All right, so I'm going to lay this sheet of pepper down, and kind of like the onion, I'm just going to cut these little juliennes. I love it. So what would you do with 5 pounds of ground lamb? I'm asking you, Amy.
I was wondering if that was a question for
Oh,
me.
that was all you.
I saw a recipe on the American Lamb website when we were looking earlier for some shepherd's pie.
Oh my gosh.
And I think that sounds really good to me.
Shepherd's pie does sound really good right now. Yeah, people, let me tell you something. You don't think about going to the American Lamb Board for recipe inspiration. You probably think about going to food blogs or a place like Homemade. Let me tell you something. No one knows lamb like the American Lamb Board. Go to their website as a resource, not just for recipes, for techniques, for facts. It is the best website resource, I'm not kidding when I say this, I've ever seen when it comes to a food-related website. It is so beautiful, so well laid out, so thoughtful. So I'm not surprised that you were on there, Amy, and got inspired. I have been there before.
There's also an idea in the chat for kefta kebabs.
What? Oh, kefta kebabs. Those are very trendy right now. I feel like they're always on the feed. Always on the feed. All right. So just to recap where we're at, we've got peppers and onions that we have sliced up. I added it to some olive oil, into a nice big heavy Dutch oven, but it could totally just be a saute pan. Look at that. That looks great. I'm going to go a nice big pinch of salt or two, pepper or two, and mix that in. And just let those get kind of soft, glossy, and delicious. You can even add a little glug of vinegar at the end just to make them a little sweet. But this is just, look at the colors of this already. I love it. And you guys know, I mean, when it comes to American lamb, when you think about what to pair it with, you know, we always say this, but like mint jelly, people think lamb, mint jelly. The reason why that works is because mint jelly is sweet, right? So other sweet things pair really beautiful with lamb, right? Which has a very distinct, beautiful flavor. So other sweet things are a sweet onion, bell peppers. So these you can already tell without even eating it. It's going to work really beautiful with our local lamb. You guys know this, but we always, always try and shop American lamb. Always, always. This is the backbone of our economy. These are 9 out of 10 of these farms are ranchers, family owned, right? Family owned ranches. So important to support these people, these hard-working folks who are putting this amazing, gorgeous, versatile piece of protein on our tables. So American lamb or bust. All right. Now, let's talk about American lamb and this gorgeous leg of lamb. When people think of a leg of lamb, they think it has got a big bone in it. They're going to roast it up for Easter or something like that, and then they're going to shave it off. And we find that so often with lamb, people kind of pair it with holidays. I actually spoke with someone today who's Greek, and I asked her, oh, what's on your table for Thanksgiving? And she's like, well, obviously lamb. But, you know, I don't know if she eats lamb year-round or if it's more just for these kind of big tentpole moments. We got to get around that. Good, beautiful American lamb is a Tuesday night. It does not need to be Christmas or Easter. And leg of lamb falls in that camp. Just because it's big, just because it's something you associate with a holiday, doesn't mean you can't rock it out on a weekday. So I like to find mine already butterflied the way we talked about, where the bone is removed. And then I put it on my board. And this part is so easy, and a lot of people get intimidated by it, but you want to kind of trim off some of this silver skin, some of this like white bit. It just gets a little bit chewy. It's got great flavor, so you can save it. But what I do is I sneak a boning knife, and that's these bending knives here, kind of underneath the skin. And I always cut away from me, and I just kind of just take out a little layer of that skin like this. All right, you can see I open it up, and it's kind of trimming away. Right, you can even try and pull some of it, right, and use that to kind of release. But then you could flip it around and do it again. And it's just trimming this, right? It's like giving it a haircut. Will it be bad if you don't trim this? No, it will still be great. It will just be a little bit more toothsome if you trim it. So this trim right here, this is our beautiful lamb fat trim. Put this in a little pot with some water and just cook it for about 45 minutes. You'll render all the fat out, and you'll have lamb fat for potatoes or scrambled eggs. So much goodness there, all right? There's some more silver skin right here. So again, I'm just going to kind of tuck my tip of the knife over the top, cut away from myself, and then do the same thing this way. And again, if you get a little bit of meat on there, it's not the end of the world. All right? So you're just kind of looking for any of those kind of really little fatty bits. But the reality is there's not a ton. As you guys know, lamb is fairly lean. So, but it's nice to kind of do this little trim if you can. This looks great, all right? So at this point, I have a little bit on there. I want a little bit on there because it adds so much beautiful, rich flavor. But at this point, we've trimmed it up. So really, really simple. Any questions about that, Amy? How are we doing in the chat?
I have a question back on our veggies over there, actually.
Oh, yeah.
You mentioned maybe adding some vinegar.
Yes.
Any particular type of vinegar that you would recommend?
You know, I would add anything but a balsamic vinegar. We are going to cook with the balsamic pretty soon. But when I deglaze with a balsamic vinegar, it turns everything dark brown. And I don't love that. The vibrancy of these vegetables are so beautiful. So I wouldn't want to hide that. So maybe a champagne vinegar, a red wine vinegar, something like that, even a white wine vinegar. But I would stay away from balsamic. All right. So now we've got this beautiful leg of lamb. And what we're going to do is we're going to slice it thin. And for that, I change tools. So I go from our boning knife, which is really good for getting around bones, getting under skin like we did, to a chef knife, which has more bulk, more power, and more control, right? So I now take our gorgeous local lamb, and I'm just kind of cutting it into manageable pieces like this, right? And now I just kind of slice that. And I'm actually going to remove this little bit here. This is just a tendon. So if you see this, you just kind of cut against it. And you can either split it open or completely remove it. It's your choice. But you got to kind of break it because it just gets a little bit tough to chew. All right. So going back to here. So I'm just going to cut this almost into like little stir-fry pieces. Thinly sliced. And you can even freeze your lamb for like, I don't know, 15 minutes. Makes this part really easy. But you can see these little beautiful pieces. So I'm going to add that into a bowl. I'm going to do it over here as well. So just nice thin slices. And when you do this, kind of long strides with your knife, right? Not more sawing, but just kind of nice, long, beautiful strides. Oh. Once you cut your American lamb like this, you just have so many options. You could stir fry it up into a fried rice or a chow mein dish. You could do what we're doing today and just kind of saute it and make this beautiful kind of cheesesteak thing. Totally your choice, but it just leaves you with so many options. And I'm going to show you a technique because, when you think about a leg of lamb, naturally on its own before you cook it, it's not super tender. It's actually incredibly tough because it's such a strong muscle, right? It's the leg of the lamb. So, the animal has been standing up, and so that leg has been getting super strong, right? That's a muscle that's always being used. So you usually have to cook it for a long period of time, or you have to grind it for it to become tender. But I've got a really cool trick for you if you want to slice it like this and kind of stir fry it the way we are today. So I'm just going to keep slicing our lamb. Oh, so good. And you can just see, I don't know, John does such a good job, but John, if you get in close, do you guys see how there's just fat, kind of intermuscular fat, that is just kind of dancing in between the layers of the lamb? That is why local gorgeous lamb is so good, okay? It's because it has that perfect balance between, I have to say it, flesh and fat. That is what it is. It's not so lean where you don't get the kind of that gorgeous kind of fattiness that we're looking for, that mouthfeel, but it's not so fatty where you lose what you're eating, which I love.
Chef,
all right, all this trim, we
have a sort of a general question about cooking with American lamb.
Yes.
Is there any sort of tips that when you're working with lamb versus working with a different kind of meat?
To be honest, no. Lamb you can treat just like any other meat, and I think people don't realize that. They think, oh, I treat pork or steak or pork or meat, chicken one way, and I treat lamb another way. Not really. It's very similar, right? Tougher cuts of beef, tougher cuts of chicken, need to be braised, cooked long, just like lamb. And that's the kind of the easy trade out. With lamb, if you like ground chicken in your burgers, try it with ground lamb. If you've made meatloaf with pork, try it with lamb. It really elevates, and again, has that perfect balance. All right, this is great. Can we just show the veggies real quick? Because they're looking caramelized and gorgeous. Everyone see that? How good does that look?
We're getting that smell-o-vision going here, too.
Oh, yeah, always. All right, so this is going to just shake out into this bowl here. And these would be great in an omelet. This is just like good to have veggies. This thing could go fajita very quickly. That's all I have to say. We've got our sliced lamb. We've got all the veggies. I could absolutely see us pulling out some sour cream, avocados, some tortillas. All right. I promised you guys a really cool trick. So our leg of lamb has been we took out a little bit of the sinew, a little bit of the fat, And now we have this beautiful kind of trimmed leg of lamb that we sliced thin, right? And typically, you would want to marinate this for a long time, but there's a hack. So the very first thing we add to this, remember we just talked about it, balsamic vinegar. This is going to tenderize the lamb, give it a great flavor. And then we've got some soy sauce, which is going to give it some saltiness, some really good umami. And this is the crazy one. This is the one that's the curveball. We've got some baking soda. So just a spoonful of baking soda over the top of your ground lamb, and it actually is going to start to fizzle and raise the alkaline of the lamb itself, and it actually helps break it down and almost instant marinate it. You can actually feel it sizzling on your fingers. And at this point, I just like to get into my lamb and just massage it in, get all that soy sauce, balsamic, and baking soda right in. And we'll salt it and pepper it in the pan. But if you could leave that for 15 minutes, do it. If you can't because you're in a rush, and again, it's like a Tuesday night, well, guess what? No problem. We head right over to the pan where the veggies were, and here we go, right in. We're just going to start to cook that down, and it smells the way that American lamb smells. So good. This looks great. A lot of people are asking me, well, how do I know? Literally, I've had people pull me over and be like, you're the lamb guy, which I love. I love. And they always ask, well, how do you know my lamb is American? And, you know, any retailer where you buy your lamb should be able to tell you where it's from, right? So that's an easy way. Is this local lamb? Is this American lamb? But also head to your local farmers markets. There you'll find ranchers, probably the family who's raising the lamb. You'll really make that relationship. I know my local rancher. I know that relationship, and it means so much to me, right? I look at him. I know he knows me. He knows what I like. I know what he has on hand, and that is just gold when it comes to good cooking. All right, I'm adding some salt, some pepper, and a little bit more olive oil. Doesn't need a lot because that lamb's got good fat on it. And we're just going to kind of stir fry it at this point. And instantly, you can already tell it's kind of tender. It's got the softness bounce to it. And this looks so good. I'm just mixing in the salt and the pepper, and I'm just going to turn it on a high heat. So I want to do a little recap real quick of where we've been. So we started with our veggies, onion, peppers, a little bit of olive oil, salt, and pepper. Got those soft, glossy, delicious. Removed those from the pan. Took our leg of lamb, which we thinly sliced and trimmed, and we tossed with balsamic and soy and a little bit of baking soda. Massaged that in, and that went right back in the pan. So really easy, one pan. If I wasn't yapping away, this would take, I don't know, 15 minutes, but a little bit longer today live. You guys aren't seeing any TV magic. This is just how we do it. How are we doing in there? Everyone having fun? Any questions?
I think we're doing okay. People are just sharing some of their other great. They really like your fajita idea.
Oh,
Hadn't thought about that
yes.
one before. Guido shared uses lamb shanks in a slow cooker recipe, so they're fall apart tender by the time they're done.
I love that.
Yeah, so some good ideas floating around in the chat.
I love it. Well, I want to continue to let you guys know that just by being here, you guys are a part of our giveaway. So one of you will win 5 pounds of American lamb, ground American lamb, which will be awesome. And you could totally do this with ground lamb, by the way. It doesn't have to be sliced lamb. I would literally just remove the baking soda, everything else the same, and saute up the ground lamb instead. That's the best thing about ground lamb. It's so versatile. All right, we're going to let those get kind of crispy and delicious. While those are kind of caramelizing, I've got another pot here, and this is for melting some butter. So I've got some good unsalted butter that's going right in. All right, I'm just going to start melting that down. I've got some oregano and some garlic salt. And we're kind of making a butter for our buns. It's one thing to, you know, make a lamb cheesesteak on just a normal toasted bun. It's another thing to make it on like kind of a garlicky bun. So that's kind of nice. So that's kind of melting down and making this flavored paint. which we're going to use. Oh, this smells crazy delicious. Awesome. All right. So as the butter's melting, the lamb's searing, and we got our vegetables on standby, let's talk about our bun situation. So I'm really into the brioche rolls. I think they're buttery. I think they pair perfectly with the lamb. They add a little bit more fat to everything, which I love because brioche has a little butter into it. And I just think that they're awesome. So I open them all up like this. Really, really simple. And then I'm going to take some of this flavored butter, once it's kind of melted, which we got about another 30 seconds here. I'm just kind of stirring that through. I don't want the butter to separate, just want to kind of mix it as it goes. This looks great. And I'm going to paint just a little dab on each one, and I'm going to save a little bit for the tops too. So a little dab of butter on the bottom, and then just save a little bit for when they come out of the oven. Oh, look at this lamb. By the way, it's starting to smoke, get crispy and delicious. This is what I look for.
And we're just looking for color on here, Chef, to know we're ready.
Yeah, color. I mean, they're going to be done in about 1 minute because we sliced them so thin. These are about there. So these are exactly where I want them. You can see they're brown, delicious. Can we get close in there real quick? Look at that. Oh, my goodness gracious. Glossy American lamb perfection. All right, so off the heat we come. And at this point, we are in assembly mode. A great mode to be in. So what I'll start with is, we'll move all this stuff away. By the way, I think I have to try because it smells so good.
Yeah, a little chef tax.
Oh my gosh. We would be happy if that's all we eat today. I'd be thrilled. Tender as can be, super, this is the intermuscular fat of a lamb leg is unlike anything else. Super flavor forward. Oh, that is just addicting. All right, on we go. Big pile of good local lamb right on the bottom. And I'm going big, because why wouldn't we?
I was going to say, those are some healthy sliders there.
Come on. Got to do it. We're here.
Of course.
You know? Yeah, I want to pile them tall. I want people to know I'm proud of this beautiful lamb that we cooked. That looks great. And immediately, and this is why I love these buns, the lamb, the juices, everything starts to soak into the bottom. This is why I don't put any lettuce on there. That's one of the reasons. But that would block the lamb from doing what it does best, which is kind of seasoning everything else that it's on. Oh, it tastes so good. I just wish and I hope that you guys make this recipe because that lamb, it's transforming, right? It's just, you think like a lamb, like I said, is this big holiday to do, and it's really a quick little stir fry if you treat it right. This looks great. I might take one slice from here. Over here. All right. There you go. And the black pepper in that is actually coming through, and it's just rocking my world right now. I love it. All right. So, little sliders on the base of each one. I've got our gorgeous lamb. Can we get close there, John? I just want to make sure he's going to... Oh, my, John. You perfect man. All right. Now, the veggies are cold enough. Oh, I'm going to go with tongs. But just kind of stack up this veg right on top of each one. Oh, look at that. I love the colors of this. And again, you just know the sweetness of those peppers are going to pair perfectly with our local lamb. Amazing. Again, I want to call out how amazing of a resource the American Lamb Board's website is. It's the best I've ever seen. We work with a lot of different organizations. It is #1 in terms of a resource. I'm not saying that because I'm at the Fan of Lamb Club. I'm saying that because I believe it and I love it. I use it as a resource for myself as a chef. So please head there. We'll put it in the chat We really want you guys to visit. It's amazing, amazing resource. All right. It's a mess, as it should be. Next, provolone cheese. Don't even mess with anything else. This has that gorgeous kind of buttery nuttiness that we love. I think provolone, to me, is like the one cheese I crave the most. So I'm just going to rip off a couple of slabs and go on top of each little slider. See how tall these are? Good. Lean in. Don't these look awesome? What do you think, Amy?
They're so pretty. I
Yeah?
love the colors of the veggies with the lamb and then that cheese too.
This is not going to suck.
Really nice.
Yeah, this is going to be really good. Oh, and when I think about game day, a lot of people try and reinvent game day. Lean in. Have some fun. Get some sliders going. Get some cheese. Some beautiful lamb on the table. All right. It couldn't look better than it does right now, but it will. So I'm going to pop these in the oven. We're at about 375. I'm just going to let the cheese kind of melt and the buns kind of toast. That should take a couple of minutes. While we're on standby, ooh, little stray lamb.
Bonus.
Took care of it. While we're doing that, what a great time to announce our winner. I do want to call out one more time the Taste of Tailgate. That is a different contest. So that is you going to the grocery store or going to the farmer's market, or maybe you have a really cool meat box that's delivered to your house. As long as it's local American lamb, take a picture just to kind of confirm that that's what it is, and then you can submit it on their website, on the American Lamb website. Submit your photo, and you are entered to win that beautiful, unbelievable Yeti cooler, Weber grill, and a year's worth of American lamb. I think they deliver you, by the way, the lamb in like quarters. So like, not quarters of the lamb, but like seasonally, like a spring box, summer box. So you'll get all these cool cuts. But our competition today is for the 5 pounds of ground lamb. So let's announce the winner. Karina, who do we got? Or Amy, do you know?
Yes, I do. Karina sent it to me.
Okay,
so we are excited. Your 5 pounds. I apologize if I mispronounced your last name here, but Pat Nicolanco, you're getting those 5 pounds of ground lamb. So you will be getting an email from us with your information on how to get that. So congratulations.
Love it. Nice job, Pat. That's awesome. Okay, I want to know from you guys, since Pat won that big haul, what would you do with all that ground lamb? What's like your go-to? Let it shine. We want to know.
I'll get you some answers in a bit here,
Yeah.
Chef.
Take your time. While you're doing that, we do have these little pickled banana peppers. It's like jardiniere. It's got that like just sour punch. And this, I wouldn't cook these. These hot aren't my favorite. But these kind of at the very end, they're kind of classic on something like a little cheesesteak, and they really complement it nicely. All right, let's take a look at where we're at. Oh, my goodness gracious. All right.
So, Chef, there was a question earlier
Yes.
why you didn't toast the buns before dressing them. Is there a thought on doing it before or after?
No, you can. You totally can. I'll be honest. I think that when you leave them untoasted, the lamb fat soaks in a little bit easier, but totally up to you, right? I think sometimes when you toast something and then the juices flow, it kind of falls apart. So having a little bit of that malleableness, a little bit of moisture in the bun itself keeps it together. But your choice. I also think it's just easier. It's one less step. But you absolutely could do it. I do think this kind of flavored butter situation elevates the whole thing. Like, it will make a big difference. Trust me. All right. Well, I think we're about 30 seconds out. I can smell everything that's going on in there. And you could throw it under the broiler, but if you do, just keep a really, really close eye, because that cheese and those buns, they will crisp very, very quickly.
So a couple of ideas coming through.
Oh, yeah,
So
tell me.
kefta again was mentioned, burgers. And
Wait,
then
what was the first one?
Kefta.
Kefta, I love it.
And then Pat, our winner, says they're going to make shepherd's pie for a TV viewing party. Menu solved.
Okay, love it, Pat. I'll expect my invite in the mail. Where do I get the invites now? But I want to be a part of that 5 pounds of ground lamb.
Ooh, lamb banh mi burgers and lamb pitas. So I think from our previous classes.
That sounds delish. All right, check this out. Oh my gosh. John, do your magic. Oh my goodness. Get out of here.
Lovely.
Get out of here. And then just top each one a little pickled pepper, which just adds some brightness, some acidity. This is it, man. And by the way, you know, I'm kind of watching my carbs these days. Fun, lucky me. And you could totally serve this without a bun and just right on the sheet tray, brown off all that beautiful lamb, melt the provolone on top with all the peppers and just kind of scoop that onto a plate. Beautiful. Or on top of a salad. Why not? But I will take a bite. I will go the extra mile.
Just for us.
Just for you guys. But what I do want to do is kind of top each one of these off. And these buns are just lightly toasted from being in the oven for like 3 minutes. And they're just like, to me, they're perfect. Look how great this looks. And then I like to just dab a little extra of that flavored butter at the finish because it's shiny and adds, like when you bite into these, it just adds like a extra little level that you weren't expecting. And Anna or Meg, whoever's around, can someone grab me a platter? I could serve it like this, but I think it would be nice to have a little platter. All right, one little paints. Oh my gosh. These deserve, I don't know, like a glass case. I just want to admire these.
Everybody's sending their drones over to pick them up and get theirs.
That would be so cool.
Oh, someone's idea is to put it in a pita, so a different
that would be
carb, but
perfect
still
for
good
this.
carb.
Thank you. All right, let's just see what it would look like on a platter. So I just kind of remove these out. Oh, gorgeous, gorgeous American lamb cheesesteak sliders.
Oh, they smell so good. I'm so sorry, everyone. They smell really good.
These really do smell insane, and they look just delightful. All right. This is the hardest part of the job. I got to do it. It's important for you guys. Let's try it out.
Oh, yeah. You know it's good if everything's falling out like that? Yeah.
Speechless because it's perfect. Let me tell you what's great about it. So the veggies, the bread, your teeth just sink through. And you'd expect with a leg of lamb to not have your teeth just sink through. But because of that baking soda, because of the massaging, because of the quick stir fry, it's so tender, unbelievably tender. Like you literally, it's like fall apart. Look at this. I'm just pulling it apart with my hands. It's like no problem. I mean, it's so good. The flavor is, it's more meaty than you'd think of like a burger or normal cheesesteak. Is it messy? Heck yeah, it's messy. Wear a bib, okay? Just invite me over, throw on your favorite game, have your favorite people over. This is a joy, as American Lamb always is. Any last thoughts before I take one more bite?
I think we've got it. Everyone is just saying how beautiful they're ready for this.
John, can we do one tight of just a single?
We did have one more dish idea, so some uzi or hashway, so Syrian dishes.
Oh, that would be great. Just want you guys to be able to see that. Oh my gosh. See the shine. Insane. Yeah, Syrian food right now is just the rage. I love it. Oh, amazing. Well, you guys, congrats to Pat. And don't forget to join Tastes of the Tailgate. That is such a cool competition. We are just so grateful for you guys being a part of this community, and we really wanted to extend the community outward. So we've gotten a lot of requests to bring this party to YouTube. So starting on our next class, we're actually going to be live on YouTube. Oh, not true. The class after that is what I was told. So next class will be our last one here. The class after that, we will be live on YouTube, which will be great. So you can share it, friends and family who are not a part of this community, who are still interested in American Lamb, celebrating all of our amazing local ranchers. Thank you to them. Thank you to Amy for being an awesome sous chef.
Thanks for having me, Chef.
And thank you to you guys for joining, for being a fan of lamb, American lamb. And have a great game day, hopefully, sometime coming up. And we'll catch you soon in the kitchen. Take care, everybody.